From the Berkshires to the Sound, from wherever you live in MLB America, this is Inside the Parker. You give us 22 minutes and we'll give you the scoop on Major League Baseball. Now, here's Baseball Hall of Fame voter number 57.
You have another hot take.
Will not NOT make the playoffs.
Shohei me the money.
Rob Parker.
Come on! I've been covering Major League Baseball for almost 40 years now. In New York, in Cincinnati, in Detroit, in LA. I love this game. Let's go! Welcome into the podcast, and I'm your host, Rob Parker. And what a show we have for you today. Before we even get started, remember, press this button, the subscribe button, so that you're always here, always up to date with all the best coverage of Major League Baseball. As you know, I've been covering baseball since 1986. I love the sport. This is the place for your baseball fix. Welcome into the podcast. I'm your host, Rob Parker, and what a show we have for you today. Former Major League reliever LaTroy Hawkins. He joins us. We'll talk about those red-hot Minnesota Twins. Also, Jalen Thompson, he covers the Kansas City Royals for the Kansas City Star. We'll also have a Parker pushback, that and much more. Let's go.
To lead off, it's Getting Robbed.
And keep them up.
Rob's hot take on the three biggest stories in Major League Baseball. Number one.
Can we pump the brakes? No, in fact, let's take the brakes out of the car. This notion that the Pirates should trade Paul Skenes, their ace, their number one pitcher, their foundation, to their franchise because the team is having a bad year. They're not going to make the playoffs. They're awful. They've already fired their manager. But this whole notion of getting rid of Paul Skenes is ridiculous, ludicrous. You build around a guy like that. You have to keep him in the fold, no matter what kind of haul you could get to overhaul the team. You got to build around him. You cannot NOT give up Paul Skenes. Pirate fans would revolt if they did that, and they just decided to go get some other teams' prospects and other stuff because they're not ready to win. That's how you win. When you have a guy like that, you put him at the top of your rotation. You're normally not going to have more than 4 or 5 game losing streaks because he gives you a chance to win. We know that they've scuffled and had trouble scoring. They got to bolster the team. They got to spend some money and add some other pieces to make the team better around Paul Skenes. Trading him, no way, no how.
Number two.
The Detroit Tigers not only lead the AL Central, they are the best team in the American League. 33-17, 50 games into the season. You know how good it is? It's the best 50-game stretch by the Tigers since 2006. You remember this team was left for dead last summer, came on strong at the end of the season, made the playoffs, made some noise in the playoffs. It was an incredible run, and they picked up right where they left off. Skubal, of course, is at the top of your rotation. They brought back Blackjack Flaherty to the rotation. They're getting timely hitting. The Tigers, are in a very competitive division, and they're leading it. Twins are good. Royals are good. Cleveland's good. I mean, it's incredible where they are, but it always starts with pitching to me. And they got 2 studs at the top, and other guys, Mize has come along as well for the Tigers. So they're off to a great start, and looks like they'll be in the mix. That Central is going to be tough, but it's hard to look at the Tigers and think they're going anywhere after getting off to such a great start. We're almost a third of the season away, and they're riding high.
Number three.
All right, you want your players to have passion, care, want to win, but Walker Buehler the other night, in the start against the Mets, he got tossed out after 3 innings for going ballistic on a missed call by an umpire. I mean, that just can't happen. First of all, it was on like a stealing play, so the catcher had to jump up and get the ball. Yes, the replay showed it was in the box. It should have been called a strike. But with a lot of that going on, the umpire can be blocked. And you can get your point across without getting tossed. That's not what you want. You don't want your starting pitcher to get tossed that early in the game over a striking ball call. It can't be that big. It wasn't the bottom of the ninth and the bases loaded and 2 outs and it cost you the game at that point. No pitch is that big that early in the game. That's where guys are just going over the top. Walker Bueller, I just maybe he didn't want to pitch that night. I don't know. What that made no sense that early in the game to get that worked up over a call on a play where someone was stealing and the catcher had to jump up and block the umpire. Really?
Here comes the big interview. Listen and learn.
Oh, it's so good.
Now let's welcome into the podcast Jalen Thompson. He covers the Kansas City Royals for the Kansas City Star. Jalen, man, thanks for joining us here on the podcast. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Man, doing great. Let's get on and talk about these Kansas City Royals. And let's start here. Coming into Friday's big series against the Minnesota Twins, the Royals are 28-23. Got off to a slow start and then picked it up and are playing much better. Are the Royals happy where they are in a very competitive division so far?
Yeah, I think they are happy where they are. I mean, from a fan's perspective, they'll say it's a mixed bag because the pitching is really good and the offense is inconsistent. But I think when you look at the totality of where the Royals are so far, like you said, they're 5 games over 500. They're right in the race. They have a big divisional matchup with the Twins this weekend. I mean, they are one of the better teams in the American League, even for all their flaws and their faults. This early in the season, you're right where you want to be. And so that's kind of mentality in the clubhouse right now.
Let's talk about Bobby Witt Jr., who was a star, and we all know that. And but last year, if there wasn't a guy named Aaron Judge, he would have won the MVP with the year he put together. This year, I mean, can he win an MVP? Is he in the race with Aaron Judge? Aaron Judge batting almost 400 and almost leading the league in home runs and all the other stuff. Bobby Witt's having a good year. Can he win an MVP with Aaron Judge in the way?
I think he can. I really do. When you look at what Aaron Judge has done, I mean, he's putting up astronomical numbers. And you really can't compete with that when you got someone that's hitting over 400 or around there, hitting almost 15, 16 home runs right now, RBIs, everything. It's hard to really do that. But baseball is sort of like the old fable, the tortoise and the hare. You can get out to a fast start, but you have to run that race. And when you run that race, at the end, you can get caught. You can win the race outright. So it just depends on how the rest of the season goes. We saw last year with Bobby Witt Jr. in, I believe, July. He went on a hot streak where he hit like 6, 7 home runs, was scorching the ball, almost hitting 500 during that 1 week stretch. So he can definitely do it. But like I said, it's a long way to go in this season. Anything can happen, but Aaron Judge is off to a hot start for sure.
Our guest is Jalen Thompson. He covers the Kansas City Royals for the Kansas City Star. Salvador Perez finally got a home run to end his home run drought. Just talk about that. What was going on there?
It meant a lot to the Royals and to inside that clubhouse for Salvi to hit the home run and kind of get back on track a little bit. He's had a rough May, and I spoke to him yesterday, and he said, I've been doing this for 14 years, and he knows how to handle ups and downs and adversity that comes. But the most key thing that I thought really stood out was when he said, I have to be the same guy every day. I can't come in and be upset when I'm not hitting. I have to keep the smile on my face. I have to show these younger guys this is the way to handle things when you go through a season of baseball where you're not always going to be your best. You're going to go through slumps. You're going to go through adversity and things that are going to tie you down. So it's about how you work through it. And that message resonates throughout the entire clubhouse. Talked to so many guys yesterday after the win, and they were saying, yeah, when Salvi is going strong, it lifts the entire dugout, the entire clubhouse, the entire organization, where they want to play for Salvi. That was the key last year. They wanted to play for him and make the playoffs for salary because he stuck around when the team won the World Series, then went down to the bottom, wasn't as good as they were, and rebounded. So they want to do this in part for themselves, but also for their teammate in Salvador Perez.
How about the strength and when we talk about pitching for the Royals? Is it in the bullpen or in the rotation?
It's the starting rotation. This starting rotation might be one of the best starting rotations in the major leagues this season. I know what the New York Mets are doing in the National League, but I don't think there's a rotation that's better than the Royals in the American League. They have 5 legit guys that are consistent and they can get the job done. And what's crazy is right now their top 2, Cole Reagans and Seth Lugo, are on the injury list, and they're still getting it done. And it's not just Reagans and Lugo; it's Michael Wacha, Chris Bubich, who I think should be an all-star this year. He's really great. He's only given up 1 run in his last 4 starts. Michael Lorenzen is a veteran, seasoned veteran, and then they have this young guy, Noah Cameron, that's going to start on Friday. And all he's done in his first 2 MLB starts so far has given up 1 earned run in 12 and 2/3 innings, and he took a no-hitter in both games deep midway through. So, yeah, they have a really nice pitching staff, a nice rotation, and I think that's just the strength of this team. They want to win, and they know that to win, it's got to be their pitching staff that carries them because their offense is streaky. Sometimes it's good; they can score 8 runs. Sometimes they might struggle to score 2 runs. So that's just where they win right now.
Jalen Thompson, and most of the stuff he said was right on the money. 4 teams from the AL Central in the playoffs. Jalen, that ain't happening.
You don't think so?
Not 4. Somebody's not going to make it. Somebody's not. I would be stunned if 4 out of 5 teams make the playoffs from that division.
It almost happened last year.
I know, almost. You just said the right
Yeah.
word, almost. I'm just saying it's going to be similar to that as
Okay.
well. But I appreciate you, my man. Thank you for the knowledge, all right? See you at
Thanks
the
so much, Rob. Appreciate it.
In case you missed Rob Parker on the MLB Network, here's his latest appearance on MLB Now.
Showdown is not meant to cause offense or harm. The viewer acknowledges any reliance on the accuracy or completeness of said content should be done at their own discretion. The host apologizes in advance for any affront as a result of personal attacks.
All right, showdown time. Rob Parker is back. Rob, great to have you back on the show. Thank you so much.
Always, BK. Let's get at it. We got a lot of good stuff.
I know. We got coming on like last week with Pete Rose. I love talking to you about that. Here we go. Your Juan Soto prediction has taken another turn. Where are you on Juan's occasional casual level of running?
I mean, if you're a Mets fan, you got to be a little disheartened by this. People go through slumps. They struggle. We know that, BK. But I was on this early on, and you know this.
Yes, you were.
Some of my buddies I went to high school with. I went to Van Buren High School in Queensville, and I got some of the biggest Met fan friends. Ben, Eddie, Stu, they all scoffed at me,
Stu,
and I said,
yeah.
No, like this is the history of the Mets with them signing big time players. I say, now you got the left-handed Jason Bay on your team right now, and he does not look like the player from the Yankees a year ago.
And I said you were crazy, and it turns out he is off to a slow start. Although he's got like a 379, 380 on base. He's not terrible. He's having deep at bats. But what gets me, Rob, is highest paid player in the history of the game, highest paid player on his franchise, highest paid player in his dugout, and I just don't get the lack of running. I don't know how he's not aware of that. He has to be somewhat aware of that. Back-to-back nights. Also, he was supposed to be mic'd up for ESPN. Then he said no. After that game on Sunday, he also didn't talk to the media. There's a lot of just squirrely things for a guy who's, wait a second, you're the face of baseball. You're the face of the franchise.
100%. It should not be accepted. The Mets have to really rein this in. He didn't do that stuff last year. I'm really surprised. He has to be able, he understood what was going on with going back to the Bronx, you know, what it means to baseball. You saw the TV ratings, the highest Sunday night baseball game since 2018. I mean, that's a lot of good stuff about baseball. Yep. And he's one of the faces, and he can't be this way. And I think if I'm the Mets, him not being enthusiastic and running out balls, I would have to stop, time out. We need to talk about this. Let's get
past this.
Yep.
This is a long marriage. This is not some date we're on.
Yeah, 15-year, it's year one of 15, and we're like this now. All right, along those lines, Rafael Devers and the Red Sox. Where are you on that little dust-up?
I'm with Rafael Devers, and I'm going to tell you why. I get the responsibility, play to help the team, whatever. I just don't think that they were honest from day one when they were going after Bregman. And I think that there's something, BK, to the honesty factor where they acted as if he wasn't going to play third base. Bregman, right? And then it was like, well, we still got to talk. We haven't made a decision. They knew when they signed him that they promised Bregman to play third base. Before you even do it, you have to talk to Rafael Devers. And Devers have been a good player to them, very good, signed him to a big contract. You can't disrespect people and just act like they should just accept anything when he was there first and he has been a big part of the Red Sox.
I think they owe that to him because you've invested in the guy. You're in it together. I think you're right. But also, there's a different level of responsibility, right? What we just said. You're the highest paid guy in the history of the franchise. You get more than Big Papi. You get more than Yaz ever. Ted Williams, you're the highest paid guy ever. Wherever you maybe it's my upbringing, right? My dad's a cop in Queens. You want to out Queens me? Right. So I'm in Queens. I understand. The check clears every 2 weeks. You should go through a wall for that franchise. They're paying you the top dollar on the club. Ultimately, even if you don't like the way they did it, why wouldn't you say, hey, the check clears, I'm going to play?
I get that, and that's fair. That really is. But there's a degree of respect sometimes that really can bother you and mess with you and say, well, what did I do? I understand you wanted to improve the team.
He didn't field well, and they probably should have told, hey, by the way, you're kind of the worst fielder in baseball at your position, so we might have somebody who replace you and move you around.
Okay,
right.
let's have that conversation,
Yeah, right.
but you
Fair
can't
enough.
act as
Fair
if
enough.
that's not the case and then bring them in and say, even in spring training, well, we haven't made a decision yet. Yes, you
Fair
have.
enough. Yeah, fair enough.
When Rob was a newspaper columnist, he lived by this motto: if I'm writing, I'm ripping. Let's bring in a writer or broadcaster, old or new.
Now let's welcome into the podcast one of my favorite people, LaTroy Hawkins, who of course pitched 21 major league seasons, appeared in 1,000, I'm going to get it right, 42 games.
You better.
Which is incredible. Played for a number of teams, but it was the Minnesota Twins that was really his team, because you play for a lot of teams. But LaTroy, welcome to the podcast, my man. How are you?
I'm doing good, Rob. Always a pleasure to join you on your podcast anytime. You know my number. We just got to make sure we get the times right.
No, that's right. We will make sure we do that. But let's talk about the Twins. We just, open up a big series against the Kansas City Royals in Minneapolis this weekend. But they have been on fire. They won 13 in a row. 14 out of 16. What has gone right? What turned the switch on, and why are they so good?
You know what's going right? I always talk about the ingredients to win a ball game. And the first 3.5, 4 weeks of the season, they would have one ingredient. They have the good pitching. They wouldn't catch the ball, no timely hitting. And when they had good hitting, timely hitting, the pitching wasn't right. So it was just those three components never matched up, and they started to match up towards the end of April, and that's when they went on their extended winning streak. They got timely hitting; they were the top 3 in the league, and hitting with runners in scoring position with 2 outs, which is a huge stat for a team. Their starting pitching has been fantastic, and great pitching is contagious. And the bullpen has been very good. So they've caught the ball. I did my broadcast. I did 6 games on the air in April, and everything I talked about, they did not do. And I just finished a 7-game stint, and everything we talked about, pitching, catching the ball, timely hitting, they were doing it all.
Unbelievable. It is a fantastic run by the Minnesota Twins. Man, I have been enjoying Byron Buxton and the start of the season for him. And we know his bugaboo has been injuries. Him and Correa then wound up colliding, and now I know they're both hurt and on the IL. But can you just talk about Buxton and what he was doing, and hopefully he'll just pick up where he left off when he gets back off the IL?
Yeah, like you said, Rob, unfortunately, it was one of those baseball plays And it's one thing about Buxton, he's never got hurt away from the field. It's always been hustle plays or getting hit in the head by a baseball thrown from a pitcher. But it was just one of those plays where it was a high sun. Buxton was going hard after it. Correa was going hard after it, and it was a high. I mean, neither one of them thought they couldn't see the ball. And once Correa heard that Buxton said, "I got it," he tried to veer off. He went to his right, and Buxton went to his right once he caught it, and they collided. Two strong safeties running into each other. They both were put on the IL, concussion protocol, but they're both back to doing baseball activities, which is a good thing. But it was great to see Buxton out there every day. He played a lot in spring training, more than he's ever had. But also say this about Buxton. It's the first offseason in a long time he hadn't had to recover from a surgery. So he came into spring training healthy, and he stayed healthy, minus the concussion protocol that he's in right now.
Our guest is LaTroy Hawkins, of course, 21-year Major League pitcher, relief pitcher, 10th most games in the history of Major League Baseball, 1,042, which is an incredible number when you think about it. Let me ask you about another guy who is, when he's healthy, Royce Lewis, the third baseman. He is dynamic. I mean, I love to watch him play, but he's been injured a lot in his career. He's been back, and he came right back, and he's raking.
Yeah, he started off slow. I mean, he took a little over, but just getting back to facing major league pitching. I mean, you can go all the rehab assignments you want, and it's still not major league pitching. But when I was doing the broadcast in Baltimore, he had started to get his timing back, and when he's not going well, he's hitting a lot of ground balls because he's not in his legs. But towards the end of the week, he started hitting some line drives, and then what comes after the line drives? He was able to hit a home run, and one of those games, on the game on Sunday, he was robbed of a home run in Milwaukee by their young, fantastic center fielder in Jackson Churio.
Yeah, he's Royce Lewis, when he is healthy, is a big part of that Twins offense, no doubt about it. Young kid, how about Roger Clemens' kid, Cody Clemens? Tell me about him. He's doing well for the Twins.
Yeah, we picked him up. I think he was put on waivers by Philly, and he's come over, and he's one of those young men that he's a Twins type of player. He plays multiple positions. Last week in Baltimore, I keep going because those are the games that I called. In the first 3 innings, he had played second base, first base, right field, and was back at second base because of the injuries. And that's the same game that Buxton and Correa collided. So he can definitely play defense. He's comfortable all over the diamond, and he's even swinging the bat pretty good. I mean, he hit 2 home runs while I was with him. Had about 4 or 5 hits, and not just regular, like really clutch hits. And we talk about runners in scoring position with two outs. He comes up and get a big hit, whether it's a single or hitting a 3-run bomb. But he's played well, and so far it's been a really good pickup for us in Cody.
Give me another player who's playing well for the Twins that maybe people,
Christian Vasquez. We brought him over a couple years ago because of his ability, his bat, and his ability to catch. And it's been a struggle with him from the batting part. And he started to turn the corner last week while we were in Baltimore. And that's good to see because he came over with a reputation of being able to swing the bat, and he hadn't got there yet up until last week with us. But he had a couple really big hits on the road trip, hitting the ball hard, using the whole field. And we like to say they ran a pickoff play in a game a week and a half ago, and at third base that ended up winning the game for us. And Rocco would like to say that was probably a turning point in his season. I think his defense kind of sparked his offense, and it's good to see because now he's swinging the bat well, and Ryan Jeffers, our other catcher, swinging the bat well, and definitely at a position that we hadn't got much production early in the season at all from.
No doubt. He is LaTroy Hawkins, of course, former Major League pitcher. He does Twins broadcast as well, and just one of my favorite people in baseball. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate you. We'll see you at the ballpark.
Yes, sir. Anytime, Rob. MLBBro.com, baby.
Now, here's the best from MLBBro.com.
Miles Johnson is spitting straight facts on MLBBro.com.
CJ Abrams is cooking in the nation's capital, and he's quickly becoming the heartbeat of this Nationals lineup. After making his first All-Star team in 2024, Abrams has leveled up in 2025. Through just 35 games, he's batting .312 with a .368 on-base percentage and a .574 slugging percentage. Add in 8 home runs and 18 RBIs, it is clear CJ is doing serious damage at the dish. And the underlying numbers back it up. Career highs in exit velocity, hard hit rate, and launch angle. Not to mention, he's swinging at fewer pitches outside the zone and waiting for something he can handle. His biggest leap? The off-speed stuff. In 2024, he hit just .172 against those pitches, but this season, he's up to .381. CJ Abrams isn't just flashing potential anymore. He's delivering. And if this keeps up, you won't hear his name just in all-star talks. You'll hear it when we talk about the best shortstops in the game. So quietly, he's not just developing, he's leading.
For more, right now, go to MLBBro.com.
No! This is baloney!
It's the Parker Pushback.
Shut the up!
Here, Rob tackles the outlandish takes in Major League Baseball.
You idiot! Shut up!
Today, I'm pushing back on the Los Angeles Dodgers and the idea of adding Shohei Ohtani to the rotation. I know, I can't even believe I'm saying it. But now as it gets closer, the other day, Wednesday, Shohei started throwing sliders and curveballs in the bullpen in preparation to gearing up to getting back on the mound. And we know it. It's like a unicorn, a pitcher and a hitter and all that. But now as I'm starting to look at Shohei and what this will take away from the Dodgers offensively and him as an everyday player, because it's going to take him out of the lineup at least 2 days for him to be a pitcher. And I understood it when it first started. And the Dodgers won the World Series last year without Ohtani on the mound. And now I'm starting to think, does this really make sense? The guy had 50 stolen bases, 50 home runs last year. It was unbelievable, won the MVP. Are you really trying to take his bat out of the lineup? One day at all, maybe 2 days. 2 days. I don't know. I am really torn now. And I know that they're not going to do it this year. They'll probably get him ready and put him in. The Dodgers have so many pitching injuries. But as time goes on and seeing how he hits this year, being interrupted by pitching, I think we need to think about it. And maybe he winds up doing what Babe Ruth eventually did, which was giving up pitching and just hitting. I'm Rob Parker, and that's my pushback.
Make way for Weekend Wagers.
Yo, it's Sean Bow. Fire up those bed naps. Let's go. Last week was a little up and down. 1 win, 1 loss. But look, we're still good on the year. 10 wins total, 6 losses. We're killing on the percentage and getting that bankroll fatter and fatter. And you know, on a Memorial Day weekend, we gonna get it even more lit. And let's start it off in West Sacramento, where the A's bring in those Phillies for a little battle. And you know, when both teams are ranked in the top 15 in runs and home runs in the itty-bitty park by the bay, that means we're doing numbers. Take the over 8.5 or over 9 total runs, whatever you can get it. And that should be a win on Friday. And let's bring that energy to Saturday as we head over to Colorado, where things are looking gloomy early for the Rockies. And when those Bronx Bombers are in town, that run line is safe. Take the -1.5 on the Yankees over the Rockies. Cash those bets inside the Parker.
Hi, I'm Rob Parker, the founder and editor of MLBBro.com, where we cover black and brown major leaguers. 75% of the content will be about the current black and brown stars in Major League Baseball. The other 25% will take a look back at some of the great black players
On the site, there'll be a ton of great written stories and videos and features.
MLB Bro, because you need to know.
MLB fans, when it comes to Major League Baseball, no one covers it better than the Odd Couple.
Facts. I am the baseball king.
First, second, third, and home.
We're leading shows with baseball. Game over.
They don't watch it.
They don't know the game.
All in one place. Right here on Fox Sports Radio.
I love baseball.
In the words of New York TV legend, the late Bill Jorgensen, thanking you for your time this time until next time. Rob Parker, out.
He can't get it. This could be an inside to Parker.
See you next week. Same bat time, same bat station.